This story explodes at the exact moment the fairy tale brand finally cracks. A royal wife's big Hollywood reinvention flops behind the scenes while her prince breaks down in a courtroom thousands of miles away. And the man lighting the match? A biographer who says he has the receipts, the interviews, and the timeline that turns a glossy comeback into a slow-motion collapse.
Well, absolutely, but don't even believe that there were 5 options. What you really saw were Harry's and Meghan's fantasy narrative, which they call the truth. What Meghan never really understood, probably not even now, is that when she was cheered as a working royal, it wasn't because she was Meghan Markle, it was because she represented British royalty and all the values of the Queen and all the tradition and 1,000 years of history. So people were cheering not just the person, but also the institution.
Devastating moment for Prince Harry's reputation and credibility, as he argues with a judge while in the dock, contradicts himself, appears to fib about using the pseudonym Mr. Mischief.
He lost at the trial court level on this push to make the British royal family pay for his security when he goes to the UK.
Once they realise that myself, my wife, and our kids are happier outside of the institution, please just look at the fact, look at the risks, look at the threat, look at the impact that if anything was to happen to me, my wife, or my father's grandchildren, look where the responsibility lies.
What a manipulation. My father's grandchildren. They're going to and it will be his fault.
It's gaslighting on a grand scale.
It's almost like Harry 2.0 is Brooklyn Beckham. Have you seen any of this action where...
Yes, I'm into it.
I'm so very into it because he doesn't talk to his father, fall out with the father.
He holds on to these terrible, unhappy moments with Meghan, who he says, she's absolute misery, but... that's not true either. And she wasn't around in the late 1990s. I mean, it's a sort of extraordinary way of behaving.
He wanted half in, half out. He wanted his own cake and eat it. And the royal family said, no, you're either in the royal family or not in the royal family.
April 2025, she said it's the happiest she's ever been. She's having a wonderful time. She can't believe it, and she's happy and grateful. Now, what sort of idiot would say that in court when he talks to the person herself has given something completely different?
The more Meghan must have been convinced of her importance to the monarchy. Do you still think she's that delusional? And maybe the answer is watching her at Kevin Costner's 805 Live event in $300,000 worth of jewelry, including Diana's Cartier watch.
Wherever she is, whether it's at Costner or in Colombia or in Nigeria or wherever, she's always, her publicist will reveal that she's wearing one of...
The way it's being told, everything was supposed to look perfect on the surface. Smiling kitchen shots, soft lighting, cozy domestic goddess energy. The image of a duchess turned lifestyle queen, casually stirring sauces and arranging flowers like she was born to be the next Martha Stewart. But behind that polished camera angle, critics say the dream deal was already wobbling, and insiders allegedly knew it long before the public did. Because while viewers were being sold warmth, authenticity, and home, one royal biographer stepped forward and basically said the quiet part out loud. He didn't whisper it either. He said the problem wasn't just one show, one scene, or one awkward recipe segment. He claimed the problem was the performance itself, that the personality being presented didn't match reality, and modern audiences can smell that disconnect instantly.
The series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here.
By the time that statement hit the airwaves, the narrative had shifted from new chapter to what went wrong. And suddenly, every clip from that show looked different. The carefully plated food looked staged. The laughter sounded rehearsed. The casual moments felt timed. Critics began replaying scenes not to admire them, but to pick them apart.
Meghan's case, it seems to me she's absolutely determined to force feed the narrative, and damn it, they're going to accept it and keep going, and people are just too smart.
Then came the quote that sent gossip circles into overdrive. The biographer, known for digging deep and not playing nice, said in an interview that it turns out she's not any kind of talent. Brutal. Direct. The kind of line that doesn't just critique a project, it questions the entire foundation of a rebrand.
Meghan's case, it seems to me she's absolutely determined to force feed the narrative, and damn it, they're going to accept it and keep going, and people are just too smart.
and he didn't present it as a random opinion. He framed it as the result of years of research, dozens of interviews, and conversations with people who had worked around her. In his telling, this wasn't one bad review, it was a pattern, a trail of professional experiences that, according to him, painted a picture of someone more focused on image than substance.
News in Harry and Meghan world, their show has been canceled. Season 3 of With Love, Meghan has been canceled by Netflix.
Then the business side started to look messy. According to his claims, executives behind that massive streaming deal realized early on that the magic they were hoping for wasn't materializing. The sparkle wasn't translating into must-watch television. The numbers, he suggested, told a colder story than the branding ever did.
News in Harry and Meghan world, their show has been canceled. Season 3 of With Love, Meghan has been canceled by Netflix.
The core issue, as he describes it, wasn't just low engagement. It was a mismatch between expectation and delivery. A global name, a royal connection, a 9-figure deal. And the end product? A lifestyle show that critics said felt small, staged, and strangely empty.
Harry, his heart seems to have softened, or there's been some sort of evolution. So I do think you're right that a lot of us were kind of caught off guard by the Prince Andrew decision, because we had grown accustomed to cuddly Charles, Grandpa Charles, with the grandkids in his lap. And I when I saw the news, I thought, I don't know if I'll ever see anything like this again in my lifetime, but maybe I will because of Prince Harry and Meghan.
The show was pitched as a grand reinvention, a chance to step into the world of food, hosting, and home life as a relatable expert. But commentators online mocked scenes that felt overly simple, saying the content didn't match the hype. The gap between brand and reality became the punchline.
And even the publishers couldn't quite believe some of the things which I discovered. And one of the big things at that time was sensitivity reading. There was a great fear that she would play the race card.
That's when the conversation turned from flop to authenticity. The biographer argued that audiences weren't rejecting cooking or lifestyle content, they were rejecting what they perceived as a character being played. He suggested viewers didn't see a passionate home cook, they saw someone acting like one. He went further, claiming professional momentum had dropped sharply, and that recent weeks had exposed a deeper issue, a shrinking stream of independent income tied to personal projects. His critics say that's exaggerated. His supporters say it explains the frantic energy around every new launch. He kept circling back to one word: real. Real passion, real experience, real connection. Without that, he argued, no amount of lighting, editing, or PR can carry a show. He also tied the public image of warmth and family to personal history, suggesting a contradiction between branding and private relationships. Those comments hit a nerve, because once the audience starts questioning sincerity, every smile becomes suspicious. Then he shifted the lens wider. He argued that the media cycle around the couple has turned into a loop: attention, backlash, response, more attention. A cycle where controversy feeds visibility, but also erodes goodwill. When performance numbers started circulating online, critics seized on them as proof that star power alone couldn't guarantee engagement. Comparisons were made to smaller creators pulling larger audiences without royal titles or global headlines. According to this narrative, streaming executives weren't just investing in recipes and decor. They were hoping for proximity to royal history, legacy stories, maybe even future tell-alls. Instead, they allegedly got soft-focused lifestyle segments that didn't spark conversation beyond mockery. The biographer painted a picture of decision-makers growing frustrated behind closed doors, wondering how something with so many advantages could feel so flat on screen. And just as that story was gaining steam, another image was circulating: a prince in a courtroom, voice cracking, emotions spilling over in a legal battle tied to the press. The contrast was brutal. On one side, a canceled show and criticism about inauthenticity. On the other, a husband publicly breaking down while talking about the impact of media intrusion on his wife's life. He reportedly spoke about the misery she had endured, his voice shaking as he addressed the court. Supporters saw a protective partner. Critics saw emotional theatrics in a case centered on events long before she entered his life. Legal observers noted tense exchanges in court, moments where he appeared frustrated, even argumentative, before being reminded to simply answer questions. For some, it showed passion. For others, it showed a lack of control in a setting that demands restraint. The timing made everything louder, a professional setback in Hollywood colliding with a deeply personal, highly public courtroom moment in London. Two storylines feeding each other, turning a couple's brand into a non-stop debate about victimhood, privacy, and responsibility. Online, reactions split sharply. Some defended them, saying no one understands the pressure they live under. Others accused them of wanting privacy while repeatedly stepping into the spotlight on their own terms. And hovering over all of it was that biographer's prediction that eventually the outrage would fade, not into forgiveness, but into indifference. That the public would stop being angry and simply stop caring. That's the real fear in this narrative. Not booze, not headlines, silence. And once that chill of indifference starts creeping in, it's almost impossible to reverse. Outrage can trend, hate can go viral, but being ignored? That's the slow fade every fame-built brand secretly fears. According to this growing chorus of critics, that's exactly where things are heading. The biographer's argument isn't just that one show failed or one court appearance went badly. He's painting a bigger picture, that the entire post-royal reinvention plan is wobbling because it was built on image first, substance second. He claims streaming platforms were initially dazzled by titles, headlines, and global name recognition. The thinking seemed obvious. Royal controversy equals ratings gold. But what they allegedly discovered as time went on is that attention doesn't automatically convert into loyalty. People might click once out of curiosity, but they don't stay if they feel like they're being sold a persona instead of a person. That's where the lifestyle branding really took a hit. Viewers didn't just criticize recipes or production quality, they questioned the emotional core. They asked why everything felt staged, why every story sounded polished, why nothing seemed messy, spontaneous, or real. In a world where audiences connect with creators filming in their own kitchens, with imperfect lighting and chaotic counters, the glossy perfection came off less aspirational and more artificial. The biographer argues that this is a central miscalculation. He says the strategy was built for a media world that doesn't exist anymore, one where image could be tightly controlled and audiences would accept the fantasy without poking holes in it. But now, viewers zoom in, screenshot, compare timelines, and share doubts in seconds. The distance between brand and reality gets exposed fast. While all that scrutiny was building online, the courtroom scenes added another layer to the public mood. A prince, once known for party headlines and military service, now stood in a legal fight over press intrusion, visibly emotional and clearly carrying years of anger. Supporters saw trauma and frustration boiling over. Detractors saw someone who willingly told deeply private stories in interviews and books, now demanding stricter boundaries for everyone else. That contradiction became a talking point everywhere. Comment sections filled with people asking how someone could reveal family arguments, personal habits, and intimate memories to the world, then turn around and argue that the press crossed lines by publishing stories sourced elsewhere. The debate stopped being just about law and started being about credibility. And credibility, once cracked, is hard to glue back together. The biographer insists this is why sympathy is eroding. Not because people don't believe pain exists, but because they feel selectively invited into it. When vulnerability appears in paid specials, memoir chapters, and carefully produced series, skeptics start asking whether it's healing or branding. At the same time, the financial side of the story keeps surfacing in commentary. Lavish homes, private security, high-profile PR teams, and ambitious media projects all cost serious money. Critics speculate the pressure is mounting behind the scenes to land a major win, a hit show, a breakout brand, something that shifts the narrative from decline to comeback. That urgency, they argue, explains the rapid-fire launches, surprise appearances, and sudden pivots in strategy. 1 month, it's heartfelt documentaries. The next, it's lifestyle content. Then inspirational speaking. Then rumored business ventures. To some observers, it looks like reinvention. To others, it looks like throwing darts in the dark. Meanwhile, the royal connection that once fueled endless curiosity has become more complicated. Without active roles inside the institution, the mystique fades, but the comparisons remain. Every move gets measured against working royals who still perform ceremonial duties, visit charities, and maintain a more traditional public image. Fair or not, the contrast feeds the narrative that one side chose service while the other chose celebrity. The biographer leans heavily into that contrast. He suggests that leaving the structured royal system removed not only restrictions, but also the support system that quietly managed schedules, polished speeches, and shielded missteps. Outside that framework, every decision is fully theirs, and every flop lands harder. He also predicts that major media partners may slowly distance themselves, not with dramatic announcements, but with fewer renewals, quieter promotion, and less visible collaboration. Not a loud breakup, more like a gradual cooling off. If that happens, the challenge becomes even steeper. Rebuilding momentum without institutional backing or guaranteed global intrigue means competing directly with seasoned entertainers, entrepreneurs, and influencers who have spent decades honing their craft. And that's where the harshest criticism circles back. The accusation that the brand relied too heavily on title and drama and not enough on a clear, consistent talent lane. Without that anchor, every new project feels like a test instead of a natural next step. Still, it's not all doom in the public conversation. There are loyal supporters who argue that reinvention takes time, that public figures are allowed to evolve, and that the backlash is louder than the approval. They say the couple is navigating unprecedented territory, part royal, part celebrity, part activist, and missteps are inevitable in a space no one else has occupied quite the same way. But even those defenders admit the margin for error is shrinking. Each new venture now carries the weight of proving doubters wrong. Each public moment gets analyzed not just for what it is, but for what it means about the overall trajectory. And hovering over everything is that earlier warning: the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. If audiences truly stop feeling anything, no anger, no fascination, no curiosity, then even controversy won't spark the spotlight the way it used to. That's the cliff edge described in this narrative, a once explosive story cooling into background noise. A brand built on global attention facing the possibility of being scrolled past. Whether that prediction comes true is still unwritten. Comebacks happen, rebrands land, public opinion swings. But right now, in this version of events, the mood has shifted from obsession to exhaustion, and that may be the most dramatic twist of all.